Hi, and welcome to UTDTV News. I'm EJ Chong with our top stories. Today we will be discussing how the university changed its internet providers.
On May 12, 2017, university housing residents received an email from housing operations announcing they would be transitioning from Time Warner Cable to Comet Net. This change was due to the contract ending with Time Warner Cable on February 2017. Throughout the first month on the new internet service Comet Net, students experienced multiple disruptions that the UTD Office of Technology cited was due to major thunderstorm activity in the area. OIT, university housing, and equipment provider Cisco worked to repair the outages. However, students are still facing difficulties. Associate Vice President and Chief Technology Officer Brian Doherty states that Comet Net is the current internet service for University Commons, but due to the reoccurring outages, Time Warner is providing services to the apartments temporarily. This is a short-term arrangement while the stability of Comet Net and TMOC Net is addressed in the apartments. A number of steps have been taken to harden the system installation against outages. The work is scheduled for completion in September, and the stability of the network will be reevaluated once the work is complete. Here's what some of the students had to say about the issue.
The recent outages have been a big problem because a lot of what we have to do is online, mostly calculus and chemistry for my particular major, which is biochemistry. Almost all the homework we do is online, and without the internet, we can't do any of it.
I mean, for the money we pay a month, I feel like it shouldn't be happening. Because we need internet to do everyday stuff for school, like homework and stuff like that. And recreational stuff, like I was trying to watch Game of Thrones and it stopped working, so it was kind of a bummer.
We're here with Chris Joseph to talk about the changes to the Comet Net. So Chris, tell us what's going on.
Yes, the IT department on campus has decided that they wanted a more secure connection for all students that are living on campus, apartments and Canyon Creek Heights and dorms. And so they've taken a few steps, a few of them being that they've cut out most of the Ethernet lines. And they said they didn't know how to keep it secure. That was the gist of the email.
We don't know either.
Yeah, we don't know either. And then they did a few not so cool things on the Wi-Fi networks. One being they cut out all P2P networks, which means if you have a wireless printer, you won't be able to print things on that unless you connect it via USB. Mm-hmm. If you wanted a LAN party, you wouldn't be able to, or you can't have LAN parties anymore.
Right.
So no Halo 1 parties.
No CSGO.
No CSGO.
No Overwatch.
I'm a Halo 1 fan, that's why I said that.
Oh, great. Thanks.
And they also are severely throttling the amount of data people can use on it, which sounds bad, but surprisingly, the connection on Comet Net and TMOC Net is still a lot faster from previous semesters.
Right.
A lot of people were complaining in previous semesters that they got less than 1 megabit per second, and now they are boasting 20 megabits per second.
Which may or may not be true, because I live in Canyon Creek Heights where we are on Comet Net and TMOC Net, and I used to live in the University Village apartments. And I can attest that the apartment Wi-Fi was terrible, but Comet Net still has its issues, and I'm sure you have more examples of what those issues are.
Oh yeah, a really big issue is we are an engineering school, mm-hmm. And a lot of students will have built their own computers. And when they build these computers, we're all college students, we don't have any money.
Yeah.
They will try to cut corners. Mm-hmm. And what they did wasn't bad because they assumed they're going to have Ethernet connections. Mm-hmm. So they bought motherboards without Ethernet ports.
Not Ethernet ports.
Sorry.
Wi-Fi ports.
Sorry. They bought motherboards without Wi-Fi cards.
Gotcha.
And what that means is to install a Wi-Fi card, they have to spend however much money it costs to buy a Wi-Fi card, install it, and then to install the drivers, they need an internet connection mm-hmm. to download the drivers.
And the only internet connection strong enough would be an Ethernet port.
That and the fact that they can't use their Wi-Fi card unless they have an internet connection.
Right.
but they can't use their Wi-Fi card because they don't have drivers installed.
So explain it. So just to go back over that, if you built your own computer and you wanted to cut corners, and you don't put a Wi-Fi card in, you expect to be able to use the Ethernet then?
Yes, it's a very reasonable assumption that in this day and age in 2017, there will be Ethernet ports.
Right, because not everything's wireless yet, right?
It's cheaper and it's a lot more reliable. And the fact that, in my opinion, the fact that the university has done this is just blasphemy.
Blasphemy?
Blasphemy.
To
Blasphemous.
all love of technology.
Yes.
Any final thoughts on the changes?
All I can say about the fact that the Time Warner Cable Spectrum contract is temporary is also very disheartening and kind of scary.
Because Time Warner and Spectrum have been returned to the University Village apartments, not University Commons or Canyon Creek Heights, and that you said is temporary.
And their reasoning is that they are trying to resolve connectivity and just connectivity issues in the current apartments and dorms.
We don't know what that means, and I don't think they know what that means either. So thank you, Chris, for discussing TMOCnet with us. Next up in our top stories, we will be discussing the Texas-wide state ban on texting and driving with Matisse, coming up soon.
Oh, dude, the internet's working.
You're telling me TMOCnet is actually working?
I think so.
We're here with Matisse today to talk about the Texas-wide state ban on texting and driving that went into effect on September 1st, this past Friday. So if you are a driver and you want to use your cellular device while operating a motor vehicle, watch out because you could be fined with $90 for your first offense or $200 for your second offense. Matisse, what do you have to say about this?
I think it was a really good move. I mean, personally, I thought that it was already a law.
Me too.
I mean, but I guess it wasn't as serious as a law. So I feel
Right.
like this is a good move to move towards something more serious that people may take more serious. You know, maybe we'll stop texting and driving. I mean, there's a lot of crashes, like so many crashes. I mean, I drive down 75 every single day, and every single day there's a crash that makes me late to school, that makes me late getting home. I mean, I just see the most terrible crashes, and I just think it's time that we really buckle down, especially on the young.
Literally.
Especially on the young generation. I mean, we're so mediated. We're so fixated on the media. I mean, even if you walk around campus, you just constantly see everyone on their phone looking down. Nobody's looking up anymore. I mean, I cannot tell you how many times someone has crashed into me just walking. So, I mean, if you think about the damage that could do driving, I mean, this is like a very, very good move.
Yeah, I ran into a pole reading something on my phone, so I completely understand. And with driving, it's so much more dangerous because if you are a distracted driver, which doesn't even have to just be texting, you could be eating or just looking at anything or just distracted, you are 23 times more likely to get into a crash. And not all crashes are fatal, but regardless, you're still hurting not only yourself, but another person.
Definitely, and especially with the social media we have these days, it seems like people can't put down their phones. I mean, on my Snapchat every day, I see someone texting and, well, not even texting and driving, I mean, making a video and driving.
Right.
How about that? Like, you're driving down the road, not even looking at the road because you're looking at the camera. I mean, just think about all the damage that could cause. So, I mean, maybe they'll just finally put their phones down. I mean, seriously, who wants to be fined with a misdemeanor and have to go to court and have to go through that when you could just easily just put your phone down and get to where you need to be going? And honestly, if you don't be on your phone while you're driving, you could probably get there a lot faster.
It's true.
Also, so
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a really, really good move. I think this is what we need. And I mean, isn't Texas one of the last states to actually
I
enact
believe
this
so.
law?
A lot of states, more than half, I want to say more than half, I could be completely wrong, have already enacted some kind of statewide policy on using a device while driving. In Texas, with this bill in particular, there are some like exceptions. If you are using GPS navigation or if you're playing music, you won't necessarily be fined unless you are looking down at your device and, not paying attention to the road, because a police officer doesn't know the difference between like you using your device and just sending a text.
Yeah, I definitely get that, because I definitely get scared even when I see a cops and I'm using my GPS, because I use GPS to get everywhere.
Cops make me nervous when I'm not doing anything wrong.
Exactly.
Why would you want to do something on top of that?
Yeah, just them driving by kind of makes me feel like I'm a criminal. But that's fine, you know? But, even with GPS, you should just set it, put your phone down, and then, drive. That should just be the end of it. And hopefully that's what this law will do. Because you need to look up when you're driving. Mm-hmm. You need to see, you need to check your mirrors. So, I hope that that's what this leads to. Maybe less crashes, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, and that's all you really need. Thank you, Matisse, for discussing this story with us. Next up, we will be talking about entertainment with me, EJ Chong.
My name is Davion. I am 12 years old, and I have hearing aids in both ears. Without my hearing aids, there's no way I can understand what the teacher is saying. Callie has helped me be successful in my life. It helped me better with my speech, and it helped me hear things better. If Callie wasn't here, then my mom probably would have been like teaching me sign languages, and I'd much rather hear than have the sign. I want to be a firefighter because I get to help people and I get to save their lives. And now, because of Callie and the sponsor, now I can hear and I can be treated like an average boy.
And welcome back to UTDTV. I'm still EJ Chong. Today we're here with Shreyas to discuss everything hot in entertainment. Speaking of hot, Game of Thrones season 7 finale aired very recently, about a week ago, and I gotta say, lots of startling developments, lots of plot twists, lots of cliffhangers. I am literally on the edge of my seat. One of the scenes that got me shook was everyone finally meeting for the first time. And in the past, we've had, Daenerys Targaryen meet Tyrion Lannister, or Daenerys Targaryen meet Jon Snow, or Sansa Stark meet Marjorie Tyrell. But for the first time since 2011, which is when Game of Thrones first aired, we finally have all the major players in the competition for the throne, the gamers of Thrones, if you will, finally meet in the same room and form an alliance to fight against this new common enemy, which we will not be foiling for spoilers, but spoiler alert regardless, because you're going to want to watch this episode of Game of Thrones. What did you think, Shreyas?
I loved it. It blew my mind, and I've really been looking forward to this episode. But tell me this, what's the deal with Cersei's pregnancy?
Okay, I don't think Cersei's pregnant.
Okay.
Cersei is the queen of manipulation and deceit, and she's good at using lies to get what she wants, you know? So her making up this baby, should she be pregnant or not, in order to get protection from the Starks and the Targaryens, because they would destroy King's Landing in like a heartbeat, I would not be surprised.
Makes sense.
On that note, what would you call Game of Thrones fans?
I think Game of Thrones, I think Throneheads is a good name for them.
Throneheads.
Throneheads or Boneheads.
Like Boneheads.
Yeah.
If you are a Game of Thrones fan, you have a throner boner. And you should probably see a doctor about that. Next up in entertainment, Taylor Swift released a new song on August 24th after being about a year in hiatus, along with the new music video. Shreyas, you listen to this song. It's called Look What You've Made Me Do. What did Taylor Swift do?
I think what Taylor Swift did is she became someone else. As in, I feel like what she was when she started off, she isn't the same anymore. And you see this trend in the past few songs that she's been putting out, like Shake It Off and Help Me Out.
Blank Space.
Blank Space.
Yeah.
Yeah. Songs like that, you find hints of what she's really like become. But I feel like in this song, it's really arrived at this sort of crescendo, this peak of who she is, and this newfound edge that her personality has acquired. I really like it.
Right. Yeah. And this is highlighted by, in the music video, different personas of Taylor Swift show up in the music video, like her outfit from "You Belong with Me," or her outfit from when Kanye West interrupted her during her VMA speech. A lot of her past songs, like the song that you mentioned, have been responses to the media portrayal of Taylor Swift. And I do agree. I agree that this song, "Look What You've Made Me Do," that's a callback to, oh, I am rebranding myself. This is an explosion of rebranding identity and things like that. In my opinion, and I'm not saying that Taylor Swift is frivolous or a bad artist, but in my opinion, I think this is foolish and trashy. But only in the sense that when an artist rebrands himself and they want to come out as this like revolutionary thing, something that's like you should be shocked by, I think there has to be more meaning to it other than like, oh, the media was mean to me, or I had drama with Kanye West and I don't want people to think that I'm like a weak girl or anything like that. Plus, she ripped off Beyonce's Formation, and I am not chill with that. What do you say to that, Shreyas?
I mean, I don't know what to say, like to each their own. Sure, she may seem frivolous and you're entitled to that opinion. And she probably is, that's what the music industry is too at some level or the other.
Right.
I mean, it's just a bunch of superficial people writing superficial songs, talking about superficial things. But I feel like in that space, what she's done is, I don't know, it's interesting, and it's at least some attempt at being honest and some attempt at being truthful, and I feel like just for attempting that, I feel she should be commended.
That's a very poignant and introspective take on being a Swiftie. So thank you, Shreyas, and thank you for joining us here at the entertainment section of UTDTV.